The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more into the breach do we go, dear friends.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So we got a market that's off about 0.25% on the S&P cash. So you can't make a big deal out of that. As I said yesterday, I don't see any real danger to the upside or to the downside. I think we probably saw the high of the week in this last 24 hours, 2180, something like that, on the S&P cash, mostly because we started seeing the volume come off yesterday, and today down about, 400 million shares at this time compared to yesterday. So volume coming off, the options kind of point to something around 2160. So maybe 2060, 2065, 2055. We'll see how this plays out over the next few days. Maybe just a tad lower out here, maybe just right here. It would all be within the margin of error, but I don't see anything that really looks like anybody's planning for anything much higher. Having some short squeezes in the semis and some really anomalous behavior in the shipping stocks and the bulk shippers. But other than that, kind of a quiet day on at least the broader indexes out here. When we look at, a couple of these others, just look like they're just shoving them up to shove them up. I don't see anything that really changed. No reason to see why Apple's up $2.50. No reason to see anything else happening out here. But I'm watching for a few. I'm waiting. I think over the next couple of days into Tuesday, I'll be putting on some positions. But at the most part, right now, it just does not seem like there's a lot of reason to have a position long or a position short. And as always, no position is a position. But let's get this party started.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
It is history repeating. On this day in 1973, President Richard Nixon declares that America's energy requirements have outpaced its production capacity and urges Congress to pass Senate Bill 1081, which authorized the construction of a pipeline to access oil from the North Slope of Alaska. And, of course, we all know how that turned out. Fairly good. Now, more than interesting than just about anything else today in world news is that our lame duck president is over in Athens, and they're having a wonderful protest, what do you call it, mosh pit in the downtown part of Athens, Georgia, or Athens, I want to say Athens, Georgia for some reason, Athens, Greece. Last time a president was there in 1999, the exact same thing happened. In fact, I don't think these folks have anything else to do other than protest. Maybe they should get a job, make some money, and then they wouldn't have to go and protest every day. Anyway, had to basically close the city down. Obama, is talking to the Greeks and some of the other states around there about taking a huge amount of liquid petroleum gas, or liquefied petroleum gas, and very unclear on how he expects to get it there, since he's been blocking all the pipeline deals so far to get that natural liquefied petroleum into a tanker and ship it over there to Greece. But I suspect that between this and a Trump administration, it's going to be more than sympathetic to putting in new and better pipelines for natural gas, the bottom in natural gas may come finally when we can export so much more than we have the ability to use. In fact, about a fourth of all our natural gas literally is burned off in those oil fields, especially up in the Northeast. And from what I've seen, I looked at it last week. There are forms you have to fill out if you want to flare the gas, is what they call it. Literally, I'm not going to even bother. Natural gas is so cheap, I'm not going to even bother trying to store it anywhere. I'm just going to burn it off. And that's pretty much it. Well, still a lot of these oil producers that don't have any way of doing anything with the natural gas are still flaring a huge amount of it. Even if a pipeline like this came in, my guess is that we're not looking anytime soon at $16 natural gas any time in the near future. But, could it get back up to $5 or $6? I think that there's a chance, but it may take a number of years. But every journey starts with the first step, and maybe actually setting up the ability for us to ship our natural gas over there liquefied to Europe may solve a couple of issues. First is, of course, the Russians always trying to cut their natural gas off so they freeze during the winter. If we went in there and started shipping them lots of natural gas, that may put even more pressure on a Russian government that hopes to go back to the glory days of the USSR. Yep. Also, I don't know if this came out yesterday or today, or exactly when it came out, but I thought it was kind of interesting. A portion of the giant field known as the Wolfcamp Formation was found to hold 20 billion barrels of oil trapped in 4 layers of shale beneath West Texas. That's almost 3 times larger than North Dakota's Bakken Play and a single largest U.S. unconventional crude accumulation ever assessed, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. At current prices, that oil is worth almost $900 billion. And, of course, just a scant few years ago, we had a lot of, I'll call them charitably liars, who were yelling peak oil. Anytime someone says peak anything, look and get ready to run. It is yet another scam, as George Soros likes to say. All of economic history is one lie and deceit after another. Your job is to get on and write it up and get off before it's discovered. The idea that we do not have huge amounts of oil continues to be about the equivalent of the predictions of last week's presidential election. Another peak thing out there, I'm actually saying peak solar just to be somewhat obnoxious. Already grossly subsidized, Musk Solar City has become an albatross of waste, fraud, and abuse of taxpayer dollars. We've got some senators and congressmen now going after Solar City, like some of the other one. What was it, Celestra? Whatever that one that blew up in everybody's face in 2012 was. I can't remember. I'll think about it during the break. Anyway, we'll talk about that.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And this may be more interesting than I think you think. It looks like the next Attorney General will be from Oklahoma. He is a pit bull on a variety of things. But of course, being from an oil-producing state, he may be even more willing to go after many of the guilty people. It was thought that it was almost unheard of that the Solyndra people weren't all taken off to jail. But of course, we had a very compliant Attorney General's office in the last 8 years. That is going away. But a lot of people are very nervous now that we are not going to have yet another compliant Attorney General's office. And it looks like this stuff is starting to be brought back up, the Solyndra issue. And, of course, some of the congressmen out rattling sabers today about Solar City, its entanglement with Tesla, and just how much money of this was actually siphoned off to go to political campaigns. Just a heads up out here, this could get rather messy in the near future. But Solyndra basically was a giant scam to get $250 million into political coffers. Everybody knows it. The question is just whether or not anybody's ever going to get prosecuted on that. As we said, they had a very partisan Attorney General's office for the last 7 3/4 years. That's pretty much it on news. After the bell tonight, it is Wednesday. We've got Jinko Solar, Lowe's company, of course, coming after Home Depot. Not a lot of people expecting anything. That was today. And then after the bell, Cisco Systems, C-Trip, and L Brands, although I think L Brands already reported. My guess is that the real move in this market will probably come after earnings tomorrow. Best Buy before the bell, Perry Ellis, Staples, Walmart probably going to move this market pre-market tomorrow. Post Holdings, Ross Stores, Salesforce may be very interesting after the bell tomorrow night. They've had a real problem making earnings, at least in the last earnings cycle. And Williams-Sonoma's. Friday morning, we've got Foot Locker. That pretty much wraps up the rest of it. What do we have out here? Wanted to look at a few things going on out here. First of all, let's take a look at Apple. You can email me at path@tfnn.com, 877-927-6648, or post a message in the den. I keep on thinking about that, Mr. Z. Someone's talking about our new vice president who is physically threatened by the CEO of Salesforce, who comes out with earnings tomorrow night. There's a few things you don't do. And then we're going to actually, I've got a couple of emails sitting here. We are going to get into Twitter and Facebook and some of the other things on that front too, because those things are hitting the news. And you get my little opinion on that. Apple up today, volume a little bit better. This thing got down to 104. My guess is this is going to bounce around a little bit. It still has about 101, which is where these gaps are. I don't think that there's a whole reason to buy this thing before then. But everybody's kind of mad about trying to find anywhere to put some cash where they can make a dime. These kind of markets always make me incredibly nervous when we start looking at even a sector today like the shipping business, the bulk shippers, saying 1,500% moves in 4 or 5 days. That is more than anything generally a giant scam. There was no reason to think that a stock is now in the bulk shipping business is now 15 times worth more than it was on Wednesday with no big deal other than an election happening. Anyway, Apple did get down to this first gap. It bounced right through it. That gap happened on the 13th of September. Went and tested it. What do we have up? 62 million shares. Got into it with about 50 million shares. But I'm still thinking that this double gap that goes in about 101 is where this stock is headed. What else do we have on there? Oh, wanted to talk about Twitter, TWTR. Twitter's finally getting serious after years of beheading videos being linked to on their system. Thoughts and many discussions about killing Christians in the Mideast went sideways. No one really cared. Just a few white supremacists are enough to get Twitter actually moving. They put out and canceled a whole bunch of accounts last night. Most of these things, though, I find very troubling, and that is the worst part of social media is who really is the gatekeeper on what is acceptable and what is not. If your opinion's a little different than Twitter's, do you get excommunicated from Twitter or Facebook? There's a lot going on under the covers and behind the scenes on these companies for them trying to get right with God, of course, after the election. Twitter and Facebook both have had their hands caught in the cookie jar, actively trying to manipulate results in the election. And even a little bit of a bounce out here in Twitter today, or in Facebook today, doesn't make much out here to me. Facebook is certainly close enough to this gap up, and that gap up happened on the 28th of June. My guess is that we are going back to that level. The low a day on that was 110.55. So you're probably looking at 109, 108. If you wanted to put a an alarm on it, that's probably, if you're thinking about buying it, where you would want to buy it. Unfortunately or fortunately, the energy off this high has been absolutely huge compared to the long move up from June 27th into that 133.50 high on October 25th. So for me, if you get higher energy on the way down, the best you can hope for is sideways action and consolidation, and then maybe you can buy it. If the energy on the way down is a whole lot less, then you buy it and think that you might be able to get the previous high back again on one of these stocks. But once you come down on monstrous volume as you have on Facebook, especially compared to the last leg up, which you have, almost always you're looking at some kind of sideways action at best. Could it fail and go lower? I don't see a fundamental reason for it. It always could. That's why you need to watch and see these things go sideways for a little bit of time. You know, maybe a few weeks, maybe in a couple of months. These things go sideways. When all the energy comes out, then it's the time to buy them. We'll be back in a minute. Give me a call at 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. Tell a friend about the Power Trading Hour.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Answering an email here. I can actually get it out here. Okay. make sure it goes through. As always, well, I've got a couple of emails here. We will get to those. What else do we have going on? We were looking at Facebook. We looked at Apple. Let's take a quick look at Microsoft and see how these things are doing. Microsoft, IBM tend to look and be the better of the bunch out here in the big tech and old tech space. Mostly, I suspect that Microsoft kept its nose out of the election either way, and was probably a good thing. Not a lot of volume up here. I still suspect that a good buy on Microsoft would be a pullback to the $54 level. On light volume, I think you have more than a good chance of getting that. IBM, Mr. Buffett has been pushing this kind of rather quietly out here. This has come back up and had a nice gap up after earnings. Unclear whether this is more market manipulation. I like the volume on the pop on the 10th. In IBM, but the energy just going sideways makes me think that there isn't a whole lot of gas in the tank of this one. I still think that I'd like to get this one on a longer pullback around the 140 to 141 level. This could be the third top here in IBM over in what Bob Carver called a polytrend top. That's kind of what this looks like. Polytrend tops. Imagine you just put a kind of a contact lens shape over the top of it, or kind of a bowl, but more like a contact lens over the top. It's not uncommon to see these things kind of come back on over, and that is what I'm speculating on IBM. That is that whole pattern ends up coming back down to 141, and your next big buy in IBM, if you believe in Watson, would be there. We got to IBM, Amazon. Got a lot of juice out here coming your way in Amazon. 740 is where this hit after the earnings debacle after hours. I was pretty sure this thing would come back down through, and I thought maybe 740 would hold the first time. Got down to 710. And, you had some fairly big volume of 12.7 million shares up today so far on 2.6 or 7 million shares. Longer term, as I've said before, could this start making an ABC to the way down? It could. I thought it might take as much as 6 months to get this thing back down into the $650 to $600 range, which is my long-term target. But that gap up is probably fairly close to what's going on in Amazon. And for the most part, it's all about the election. A handful of the big stocks in California, based in California, basically got a huge turn of the head for antitrust. Amazon's probably the poster child right now for antitrust action. And a lot of people are starting to think that it's better to get out of Dodge before you get what Microsoft did in 2010, which is halfway through the day, your stock loses 30% of its value because a judge says that he's going ahead with an antitrust case. Judge Penfield Jackson, if I remember correctly. Amazon literally is not getting into anything that they do not touch, and that is purely the definition of a vertical market, and them being able to control everything from manufacture of some products to the shipping of those products on its own planes, to the delivery of its products in its own cars and ships, to the ability to wipe out any competitor. My guess is that Amazon is the definitive action. Microsoft had a similar kind of thing going on with Apple, in that Apple, they were basically putting Apple out of business. And in 2002, I think it was 2002 or 2003, we saw the soon-to-be CEO, I guess he was then already, go over to Bill Gates and say, hey, Bill, Apple's going out of business, and if they go out of business, you're going to be the only computer company really in the PC business, and these guys are going to be back on you like white on rice. why don't you just lend me $450 million to keep Apple afloat? I got some pretty good ideas for these things. They're called like the iPod and the iPhone and maybe some other things. I don't know. But I'm pretty good on the way of kicking these things out the door. We'll make a lot of money. And guess what? We're not going to spend that much time going after PCs. We're going to go after all this other stuff. So just lend me the $450 million. If we go out of business, you'll have yet another pack of antitrust rats all over you. Just to kind of go the other way, and we'll get into this. So who knows what the deal was on the backside. But for the most part, it was smart money for Bill Gates to put $450 million in the hands of Steve Jobs. And if I remember right, when they had the right to buy back the warrants or something, and I think Microsoft made $3 billion or maybe $4 billion on that deal anyway. So not only did they save themselves for antitrust, they actually made $3 or $4 billion on the way of doing it. So kind of an interesting backstory on these. Let's take a look at some of the other ones. Genus. Somebody's asking me about a company called Magna Gas of Clearwater. Don't know anything about this company. He says the MNGA. But if they are out here, I'll drive by them and find out if there's anything to be seen in this. Magna Gas. Well, I tell you what, their stock is pretty pathetic. This thing's at 54 cents. A heavy volume day down today. Twice the volume of the previous low of July 15th. All I got to say is the chart's pretty horrifically bad here. Man, I wonder how much cash these guys have. I got about a minute. I'll look at this during the break, but my guess is if these guys have like 50 grand in the bank, I wouldn't worry about them actually doing anything new. Especially if you got something great and it's wonderful, and someone else wants to buy it, and they take one look at your finances and go, you know what? I'll buy this company or whatever it has that's really cool. I'll buy it at bankruptcy because these guys are going out of business. That's normally the first thought of anybody that is interested in this kind of technology. If it is any good, what do you really want to do with it? I don't know this company, but that would be my first blush on it. Give me a call at 877-927-6648. And, of course, email me at path@tfnn.com, like Doug from the windy San Francisco.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Yeah, it's all kinds of interesting things going on out here. And what is going on? It's hard for me to see. Yes, I do see all those articles and the press going nuts. It's hard to know. They said they were going to reform themselves last Wednesday, and now they go absolutely bonkers if a president-elect goes to have dinner with his family at a steakhouse. I don't know what's going on out here. It seemed like everybody has gone practically insane. I was watching the former president of Mexico have a meltdown on TV today. And I have to say that's about as close to denial as Baghdad Bob was in about, what was that, 1991 or 2? When actually Baghdad, that was the second time, wasn't it? When the tanks were rolling through downtown a block away, and he was saying that they weren't even anywhere close in town. Kind of the exact same thing. Everybody's gone insane. The press is back to being the insane people they were last week. They took a whole week off. They're back in force today. I don't know what's going on. Maybe there's something in the water. What else is happening out here? We talked about that. Let's take a look at some of these other ones out here. Most of these companies are rather bizarre. I brought this up in the den on Monday. But Dries was one of these stocks that you had to wonder about what was going on out here. And just kind of nutty action, as we've said in some of these. EGLE is another one. I thought maybe, you get a nice pop out of these. Some of these, like Eagle, probably much more likely. But almost all these companies have been through 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds of reverse splits. So there's almost no shares left. And this is a great place for stock manipulators to play. You had your big move on this one at about $4. I really like stocks that do this. And as I've said before, this is kind of the Lazarus pattern I look for, and that is when stocks go sideways. I almost bid on this, but I couldn't get a real good feel on it. I didn't really see anything happening out here. But my guess is that these whoever's behind the manipulation of these stocks had been planning this for a while. They were very good. I kind of saw some fingerprints of what was to come, but I didn't see a unsmudged one. so I didn't play. And it also had to do with the election, and I was kind of maybe distracted on that one too. But nice pattern out here. Anytime you see 10 or 15 days of a stock going sideways at highs, a pretty good indication of distribution. At lows, a good indication of accumulation. And those days where you don't have much happening one way or the other generally means that you've got a bid right underneath that stock. These were some nice 1 week moves out here. I don't know how real this is. It never seemed to matter that the Baltic Dry Index was going up before, but little signs of life out here. And I imagine more than a few people probably still short this from the days when these things were sky high. And of course, every time they did a reverse split, made it easier to run these as short squeezes in these kind of markets. As we said earlier, Jinko Solar this morning had earnings. JKS, this did pop up a little. A lot of these stocks heavily shorted and kind of easy to get a little short squeeze going. Not much out here. This is just back into the gap down of the 9th of November. As I've said for about a year, maybe 2 years, that these solar stocks never made a whole lot of sense. Before these, and from about 2003 to 2008, the Republican side was running the fuel cell scam. Now Jinko and the rest of these are all on the back of the solar scam. It's very hard to beat coal, very hard to beat natural gas for cheap energy. And I don't know if there's much to say about it other than that. Everybody would love to see solar take over, including me. It's just not something you can do. Sun does not shine all the time, making it a real problem to make it a source of your only source of electricity. Let's see what else is out here going on. Almost all of these are shipping company. Target had earnings out this morning, TGT. And again, this is probably going to put a pretty big shine on what is going on in Walmart in the morning. But nice move out here, huge volume. You would have liked to seen this thing hold this July 26th high at $76.77, 50 million shares, 18 million shares so far. So plenty of volume to go up through this high. Has not been able to hold it so far today, but not a bad looking attempt to blow back out these highs. WMT, in a world where we're told nobody can compete against Amazon, Walmart and Target seem to be doing pretty good. Not a lot of love coming to Walmart pre-earnings. This thing did have a wonderful gap up on the 19th of May, came back and tested that gap up that had originally 35 million shares with 9.1 million shares. So you had a pretty good buy signal on October 13th. This has kind of come back up to the $72 level. Light volume going into the day out here. So I don't know if there's a whole lot you can bring back up to that. See if there's anything else out here. Let's take a look at some of the other stocks. Someone wanted me to look at Panera, PNRA, didn't it? Nice move out here the last 3 days. And of course, if you're big on candlesticks, a good example of kind of what they call three advancing soldiers. That is, you get these three nice big candles up, decent volume, and then that's it. A lot of times these things will pull back significantly, but the energy was good on this, especially the energy back up into this 210 high on November 14th. But that's kind of the end of this pattern out here, and that is an exhaustion pattern. You get 3 days, everybody gets all hot and bothered, and then there's got to be a better gal to take to the dance after one of those. What else did we have out here? Wanted to catch back up on soda after its earnings surprise last week. We talked about this one. Holding its highs here fairly decently, but no volume. This is probably a good candidate to come back in and maybe 29.50. If you could get that gap maybe half filled, would be very interesting to take a look back there. Things may be turning around in that. I never thought much of it, though, I have to say about that. Too easy to just pick up a six-pack of Coke or Pepsi. But I don't know, some people like it. We'll be back after this. Give me an email at path@tfnn.com and call me. Still
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And election things still kind of reverberating into the market. There's a article that just came out shortly ago about Eric Schmidt from Google getting his hands caught in the election cookie jar again. I don't know if it really matters. There's almost no price to be paid out there in Silicon Valley. Maybe a bigger problem going forward, though. Up a little bit today on very, very light volume. Of course, you came down after earnings. Mostly, a lot of people very nervous that antitrust will come to some of these big companies. They've been able to basically get away with murder since, I don't know, mid-2000s. because they were politically correct. That may change here very shortly. That may be what we're seeing in Google now, which is a very decent move that looks like it could be an ABC down. Could this get back up to $800? It probably could. That would set up a nice ABC down, which would be somewhere in the neighborhood of about $100. So that would take you back down on a 1-to-1 about $700. My guess, though, is if you got that, you're probably actually going to get back into this gap that started it all, and that was on 6/28, the June 28th. This thing gapped up with 1.9 million shares and has left that gap about 690. So I would not be surprised to see maybe this Christmas season, maybe we meander up a little bit and we get the exact same kind of sell-off we saw the first of this year again in next year. A little speculation going on here. I wouldn't be betting the money yet, but at least one scenario that you might want to be looking at is that of these big 4 or 5 companies that had a target the size of a barn door to shoot at for antitrust violations. And you may be thinking that maybe I'm a little bit nuts on that, but if you go through the stuff, we occasionally go through all the fines that the finance companies, the banks, have gone through. They read like a RICO case, like you're dealing with John Gotti. I mean, these guys are paying, $20, $40, $1 billion in fines, $5 billion in fines, and yet no one goes to jail. You kind of have a very similar thing in here where these guys have been more than willing to throw cash. And is that for political protection against a lot of the stuff that could happen in antitrust? I can't say it's not, but these guys have done more than just say, vote for so-and-so. These guys have been rather, I'm going to say rather, when they could have just said hi, they stuck a thumb in someone's eye. And that is probably a bigger problem out here that these guys and the market is starting to key in on, is that, were they buying protection? Anyway, Google and Apple and some of the other ones, they're starting to rack up a nice little book out there on, let's see, what did the first thing they did? It was the price fixing for PDF books. Then it was price fixing for the engineers that worked at their company. No one would offer anybody more that they were making at one of the other companies. There's probably, if I thought about it, there's probably 5 or 6 or 7 things that these guys have already paid fines on. And why they're minute compared to the financial industry, they are starting to add up. I'm wondering if this won't be a feature of RICO cases on a variety of fronts in the coming years. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. Remember to sell when you can, not when you have to.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.